I am a firm believer that a well-made scrambled eggs is one of life's greatest pleasures. And in this video, I'm going to discuss every ingredient, every piece of equipment, and every little technique that you guys need to make a Michelin star level scrambled eggs. Now, if you don't want to hear me yap a whole bunch, you can use the chapter cards below to get to the specific part of the recipe that you would like to see. Otherwise, here's a little context about why eggs are so special to me. Now, scrambled eggs were one of the very first recipes that I absolutely obsessed over when I first started cooking roughly 15 years ago. I would cook this dish every single day for breakfast in a slightly different way, working on my technique, learning the ins and outs of the recipe, and becoming intimately familiar with scrambled eggs. So much so that in my very first paid job in a Michelin star restaurant, where I felt completely like a fish out of water. It was super intimidating, it was a really hard, tough environment, and everybody around me was an incredibly talented chef. There was one dinner service where we had a special set of guests and we were making like a special menu for them. And chef wanted scrambled eggs and caviar. So he asked one of the guys on the pasta station that had some of the best cooks in the kitchen to make an order of scrambled eggs that he'd finished with caviar and like a bunch of other fancy stuff. Now, that chef didn't do a great job of the eggs. They were kind of like a little tough, they weren't particularly good, and chef was pissed. And me being like, okay, everything is super difficult and impossible in this restaurant, but I think I can do a decent scrambled eggs. I was like, yo, chef, I got this. I got an extra minute. I can whip up like a 2-egg scrambled egg in like no time, and I think I could do a good job. Anyway, long story short, I served chef the eggs. He tastes them and he's like, damn, La Rosa, this is actually like really good. Which sounds like no big deal, but to get an actual compliment in that sort of like high pressure environment where we're trying to go from 2 Michelin stars to 3 Michelin stars and nothing was good enough, the fact that chef told me these were damn good eggs made me feel so good about myself. And then a couple of the other sous chefs like tried what was left and they were like, oh, La Rosa, you can do this. And so this dish is very, very special to me. Anywho, I think I've yapped for far too long, so let's jump into the ingredients. Okay, so for really, really good scrambled eggs, you first want to start with, obviously, the best eggs that you can find. Now, these eggs, if I'm being completely honest, were just from the convenience store around the corner from me. They are fine, not the best, not the worst at all, but I am going to show you an amazing little trick to turn average or even not the best eggs into super creamy, rich, decadent eggs. Watch this space. But yes, obviously, scrambled eggs, you need eggs. Next. Butter, really good quality butter. Get the best quality butter that you can. This is also going to be an enormous contributor to flavor and texture inside of the eggs. With my technique, I like to start off cooking butter and I also like to finish with butter. Now you can finish with more ingredients and we can talk about that a little bit later. But at base, you need good quality butter. Now this is Kerrygold unsalted. You can use salted butter as well. You just need to add a little bit less salt. But yeah, this was the best butter that I could find at the supermarket. I've been eating it since I was a kid. It's like grass-fed, slightly cultured butter. It's pretty damn good and I would highly recommend it. It's pretty globally available. So if you don't know what good butter looks like, that's a pretty decent brand to get behind. And last but not least, these are a very simple egg dish, but there's a lot of technique involved. Is salt. I like fine salt because it dissolves like fairly easily. You could use kosher salt, use whatever salt you have. Coarse salt, probably not the best. You want this to break down fairly quickly. And we will be seasoning in stages, but we'll get to that when we talk technique. That's kind of all we need for the egg components. Now, if we're talking how we'd like to serve this, I've got some nice crusty bread here that I'm going to be cutting up, but the bread does not matter. I would recommend toasting it so you have some textural contrast with the creamy scrambled eggs and the nice crispy texture of the bread. It's lovely together. So definitely toast it, but even if you just have like plain white sliced bread, that's gonna do just fine. That's just fine. The eggs are the important part. Everything else is extra. Now, if we are talking garnishes, they are completely unnecessary in this recipe. But I'm gonna be adding a few just to show you some like different options. And we'll talk about those a little bit later. But again, they are not important. We are focusing on the eggs. Now, as far as equipment goes, it is also equally very simple. So, I do not have the perfect vessel that I would like to be using for scrambled eggs, but I will say, very important, whenever you're dealing with eggs, you want a good non-stick surface. Now, this is a bit of an older pan, so it's like slightly beaten up, but still very non-stick. It has a good Teflon coating. It is an aluminium pan, which I really like for scrambled eggs because it is a very thin metal that does not hold on to a ton of heat. And scrambled eggs can go from perfectly cooked to super overcooked within like 30 seconds. Like it's really, really fast. So if you have a thick bottom pan that holds on to a lot of heat, it's going to be very difficult to regulate the temperature of the eggs. Now, what I don't like about this pan, it's my only non-stick, I would much prefer something that was a bit smaller and a bit higher side. Something much like this pan. Now this pan is a much smaller volume, holds maybe like a liter total, a quart total, has a nice high side, so the water inside of the egg does not evaporate super quickly, much like in this wider bottomed pan. However, I do not have a non-stick inside. My mom used to have an amazing non-stick little pot that was perfect for a one-person portion of eggs, maybe like 3, max 4 eggs. It used to do the job great. Non-stick, very important because the egg will get stuck to the bottom. I do not recommend seasoning a stainless steel pan to make it non-stick. Different video, different conversation. So, long story short, this is not the optimal pan, but the fact that it's non-stick means that I'm going to use it to teach you guys how to cook this recipe. To make up for that, I'm going to use slightly more eggs so that there's a larger volume of eggs for the pan. So this will be a good 2-person portion of scrambled eggs. And this is kind of all the heating equipment that we need. Now, as far as small utensils, also very, very simple. All you really need is a silicone spatula or any sort of heat-proof spatula that I can gently coax the eggs with. And now you can also use a silicone spoonula, which is basically a spatula with like a little curved inside. And this is good for serving. It's better for serving, but not as good for mixing. I'm going to use both because I'm extra and I want to show you the best tools for the job. Other than that, the only other thing you're going to need is a bowl to mix the eggs and something to mix the eggs with. In this case, I'm using a fork. You can use a whisk if you have a large volume of eggs that you are working on, but I feel like a fork is the best tool for the job to break down the eggs without adding too much air inside of your eggs. And I think that just about covers the ingredients and the equipment, so I'm going to pass you over to voiceover Steve, and we can get cooking. We're going to start by cracking our eggs against a flat surface to minimize the amount of shell fragments that come off of it. Then we're going to place our eggs into a small bowl. Now, for a portion of scrambled eggs, I like at least 3 eggs per person, if that's going to be your main breakfast. However, to add a lot more color, richness, and flavor to our standard eggs, we are going to separate an extra egg yolk out and add that to the bowl. You can reserve the whites for a meringue or something else. Now here, I'm preparing 2 portions of eggs to fill my wider bottom pan nicely. So that's 6 whole eggs plus 2 extra yolks total. Next, we are going to season the eggs with a good pinch of salt and give everything a really good mix with a fork. Keep mixing just until there are no streaks of egg white that are visible left. Now, you can cook these eggs immediately, but for the best results, we're going to use a little bit of science. You just want to let the egg sit for about 15 minutes whilst you prepare your other ingredients. And by letting the eggs sit in advance, this helps break down the proteins, which just leads to more tender and less watery scrambled eggs. Now, since the eggs will cook quite quickly, I like to prepare my bread and other garnishes whilst the eggs are resting. I like nice thick slices of bread, which I cut in half just so they can fit in my toaster, and I keep them waiting in the toaster until I'm ready to cook the eggs, so that everything is nice and warm when served together. And finally, this step is not necessary, but I love to cube my butter in advance. It makes it easier to add to dishes, not just for scrambled eggs, but for pretty much all of my cooking in the kitchen. And finally, we are ready to start cooking. Place your pan over medium-low heat and add roughly 1 tablespoon of your whole butter. Tilt the pan to coat it evenly with butter, then add your eggs all at once and begin mixing immediately. Now, for my tastes, I like small, delicate curds. So I mix things constantly by making small concentric circles with my spatula and rotating around the pan in a circle. So like little circles in a big circle. If you prefer larger curds, which are just these like clumps of egg, you can cook your scrambled eggs over a higher heat and mix the eggs less frequently. Every now and then, it is very important to scrape down the sides of the pan. Since you'll like splash little bits of egg, the egg on the side will cook faster than the egg in the middle, and you might get like little lacy, crispy, unwanted bits. At this point of cooking, the goal is to manage the heat and keep the eggs moving so that they don't stick to the bottom of the pan and clump together. You can always remove the pan from the heat or turn the heat off to slow things down if the eggs are curdling a little too quickly for you. Now, slowly but surely, you're going to see the eggs begin to thicken. This is exactly what we want. Creamy and rich without cooking them too
too fast so that they become a little more tough. Now, once the eggs start to hold together, but are still slightly loose and glossy, this is the final stage of cooking before they're done. For perfect scrambled eggs, you want to remove any of this like remaining liquidy egg and just keep cooking slowly until everything just comes together. At this point, they are ready to serve. And keep in mind, the eggs will keep cooking from the residual heat in the pan if it's too warm. This means we need to keep our eyes on the eggs, keep them moving, and make sure nothing cooks too quickly. Once the eggs are set, taste for seasoning, and finally you can add your finishing ingredients. Now, I like to add a couple small knobs of butter for extra richness. And since I added a couple extra egg yolks here, I don't even need that much butter. Now, if you want a lighter scramble, many people like to finish with a dollop of creme fraiche, which adds a little bit of acidity, it's a little bit of creaminess. And as for things like, I don't know, smoked salmon, herbs, etc., I kind of prefer adding those onto my finished plate rather than mixing them into my eggs, but that's just me. I wholeheartedly encourage you to make this recipe your own and cook them to your tastes. And now it is time to plate.
Okay. We are here. Our couple little cubes of butter have just melted together, but the pan isn't super hot. I would recommend serving this immediately, like as soon as it's done cooking. You can let it hang out in the pan if the pan isn't super hot. But the longer that these stay here, they're either going to get cold or they're going to overcook in the bottom of the pan. So we're going to plate and talk at the same time for once. So here we have our slices of toast that we just popped in basically like halfway through the egg cooking process, or at least you should. I cook them in advance because making content is a hassle. And here we have our beautiful, luxurious eggs. Now I've already tasted these for seasoning, but as the complete package, I am very excited to see what this is going to be like. Nice, generous dollop. Wow, this was meant to be for 2 people. But it actually isn't an enormous amount considering there's 8 eggs in here. Now, as far as garnishes go, for the most part, for the majority of my life, I have eaten my eggs exactly like this, and I think they are phenomenal. But I recently got some chili crisp as a Christmas present. Thank you, Karen and Paul. And I have been dying to try it out with some eggs. It's delicious by itself, but I think on eggs, the little bit of heat would be perfect. I've often had sambal with my eggs, and it is chef's kiss. It is beautiful. The pure experience, wonderful, but we're gonna jazz things up. Plus, this is YouTube. My thumbnail needs to look pretty, so we're adding some color. Chili crisp, just like a little bit. You really want to let that yellow shine through. A little bit of heat goes a long way. This is just like crunchy, has peanuts in it, some like toasted aromatics like onion and stuff like that. So really nice little bit of heat. And here we have some parsley. And normally I would add chives if I was going to add any herb, but the grocer around the corner didn't have, and I want just a little bit of color. So just a little sprinkling. I'm going to quickly take a thumbnail and we will be right back for a taste test. I'm so excited to dig into this. I have been craving this since Christmas Day. Let's just get into it. Oh, you beautiful thing. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Final verdict. You should really freaking try this. Like, it is so good. Those extra couple egg yolks, amazing. Adding the salt in advance keeps things light and fluffy. If you prefer a larger curd, you can mix things less. You can put things over, you can cook this over a much higher heat. And that's something you prefer. I love the soft, luxurious curd. The chili crisp is absolutely delicious. It really adds a little bit of extra texture, that really nice heat, that contrasts with the egg so beautifully. The egg's really nice and fatty, the toast is nice and crunchy. The parsley does nothing, I'm not gonna lie, it makes things prettier and green. I would much prefer chives, which add a little bit of like that oniony bite. But truth be told, if you just make the eggs on like the simplest piece of toast, it is truly a fabulous meal. Cooking Michelin level cuisine isn't always about throwing a bunch of crap onto a dish. It's about technique, it's about good ingredients. I think this dish is absolutely perfect with just the eggs and just the toast. I would highly recommend you give it a shot. If you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe, please go watch this video. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. Sweet. Mmm. Mmm. Mmm.